We'd like to thank BetChrisCanada.net for their support of the Hockey Betting Podcast. I'm Brian Blessing in sunny Las Vegas.
And I'm Cam Stewart in cold Toronto, Canada.
If you love hockey and you're in Canada, and Cam is, by the All-Star break, even if you can't stop thinking about taking a vacation someplace sunny and warm, but you don't want to miss out on any of the hockey action, look for a BetChris near your next holiday destination.
BetChris is one of the leading sports books in the Western Hemisphere, with hundreds of sports betting locations throughout the Caribbean and Latin America.
Watch the game at a BetChris location. Food and drink specials and VIP lounges are available at many BetChris locations. Use the promo code PODCAST when you open your BetChris account.
Place some bets on your game and collect your cash at the window when the game is over.
BetChris offers single bets, parlay bets, teasers, and more on pregame and live odds for hockey and all your favorite Canadian and American sports leagues. And BetChris offers a variety of team and player props, including futures.
BetChris offers the best value odds on Canadian and international sports. Use the promo code PODCAST when you open up your account at a BetChris location. Deposit $750 or more and get up to a 40% reduced commission on your sports bets, up to minus 106 on single bets and parlay bets. That's the best juice in the biz.
So, if you're planning a trip to exotic locations from the Caribbean and Mexico to Peru and almost everywhere in between, the odds are very good. There's a BetChris Sportsbook where you're going on holiday. For more information about visiting a BetChris location while you're on holiday, or to listen to or subscribe to the Hockey Betting Podcast, visit BetChrisCanada.net. That's BetChrisCanada.net. Cam, you're Canadian. When you leave Canada and you're heading south, use the promo code PODCAST.
You're listening to the Hockey Betting Podcast, presented by BetChrisCanada.net. This is the Hockey Betting Preview for Monday, October 21st, 2019. And now, live from Las Vegas, the host of the Hockey Betting Podcast, Brian Blessing.
Absolutely a treat when we get to talk hockey any day of the week, and it's always a treat to talk to our pal Cam Stewart, north of the border. Brian Blessing with you here in Las Vegas. And the early stages, Cammy, 8-9 games played. Some pretty interesting developments in the early stages of the NHL season, buddy.
Yeah, no, it's been weird. Like, we've been doing really, really well, Brian, but the one team, I figured some things out. This Calgary team is unbelievable. Like, we talked about them being like overrated. That's the one team I haven't figured out yet. They're screwing me out of parlays, in the revenge game versus the Kings. But other than that, things have been great. Like, we've been having multiple winning nights. Things are good. On Saturday night, I clipped a few dogs. I know I've been riding Florida. They've been a little bit disappointing. They're getting it done, but Dallas finally getting off the schneid. So, yeah, it's great. A lot of these hockey underdogs coming in, and it's nice to have plus units.
Oh, there's no doubt. And we'll dive into the Monday and Tuesday cards, and we think we can identify a few more for you as we get going. We got a pretty light slate here on a Monday night, Cam, but opportunities nonetheless. And let's get the fun started here as we're looking at Columbus and Toronto right down in your backyard. What are we to make of the Leafs? That's a good win for them over Boston on Saturday night. But, boy, they just run so hot and cold with the lack of D that they have. Yeah. Freddie Anderson is the biggest hidden gem in the NHL. Everybody, Toronto this, Toronto that, with all the talents. Well, got news for you. Those guys score 2 and cause 3 if it weren't for Freddie Anderson.
It's true. Like, Freddie Anderson gets a lot of, flack, but it's not him. It's the defense and sometimes the forwards who don't do their job when they come back either. That game against Boston, the Leafs had it. They always make it hard on themselves, Brian. Boston ties it up. They win in the overtime. Like, it was a big win, the revenge factor there. Boston always knocking them out of the playoffs. But I will say this about the Leafs. Yeah, the talent's there. It's just very concerning, though. The defense is still not up to par. And a lot of the time you're going to get overs in their games. And, I look at this game. They're a much better team than Columbus. They're at home. They should be able to kill the Blue Jackets. The question is, how many goals are the Leafs going to score in this game, 4 or 5? I think we can get over the number versus Columbus. The Jackets are a bad hockey team. They've taken a huge step back too. Too many missing parts there. I like the Leafs in a romp. I don't like the price, though, at minus 200, 210. It's too much.
All right, pal. I think we got an opportunity here. Vegas is at Philly.
Yeah.
Vegas gets a win at Pittsburgh Saturday night.
Big win.
3-0's the final score, but basically it was a 1-0 game. And Fleury stood on his head. Vegas defense. By the way, Pittsburgh at the moment, what Sidney Crosby's doing is remarkable. Everybody out here is, that's a great win for Vegas. I'm like, well, wait a minute. I mean, it was Sidney Crosby and an AHL team.
Yeah, exactly.
You know what I mean?
Exactly.
And you were life and death to beat them. So that being said, Vegas continues the road trip here. Vegas' defense has some real question marks in their own end with Nate Schmidt out. But here's the real nugget. Carter Hart's not going for Philly. Brian Elliott is. And the real story is Oscar Dansk hasn't played an NHL game in 2 years. And he's been, they ride Fleury like he's Seabiscuit. And they're finally giving this guy a night off.
Yeah.
But now Oscar Dansk is in there. I can't see anything but over 6.5. I think it flies over the total.
I agree with you. I like the over in this game. I hate to say it. I kind of like Philly too. You don't want to. I think Vegas is a superior team, but with Dansk in that, at least Elliott, he's had more NHL experience. I think the Flyers at home, they're going to understand Vegas is a good team. They want to make a statement in this game. I see goals and I see the home team in this one, Brian. But Vegas is a damn good team. You saw it. Yeah, they shut down Pittsburgh, but Philadelphia is going to be in a bad mood, losing a heartbreaker on the weekend, and I think they come back with some goals against the Golden Knights. Give me the Flyers in the over 6.5.
I will tell you this, pal. I think it speaks volumes of how much better the East is than the West. I mean, Vegas is 6-3, and I'm telling you, a lot of this stuff is smoke and mirrors. There have been nights where Boston killed them. Yep. Arizona skated rings around Vegas. Vegas is not a real fast team right now, but you're going to win when you got a terrific goalie, and they're top heavy with their top six, and they can win you a lot of hockey games. But they're going to be nights when they get throttled because their blue line, you got a mix of kids figuring it out, and guys like England and McNabb that aren't the fastest guys in the world, and this league has gotten faster. I mean, really fast.
No, good point. That's the thing, Brian. And even though the Flyers are kind of an aging team, they still have some studs on the offensive side of the puck. The Voraceks of the world. There's things that they could do against Vegas' slow D. Also, you're never going to find a better spot like this. They're licking their chops going, thank God we don't get Vegas at full strength. They got injuries. They got a suspension. You got a goaltender who hasn't played in years. So, yeah, it's just a very, very good spot for Philly. I think they want to take advantage of that one. So, you know what? I wouldn't usually go against Vegas playing Philadelphia, but this is the night to do it.
Let me just tell you, I love you like a brother, and I am a Don Cherry disciple. And, I got, these young guys out here, throwing stones at the old guy, get off my lawn, blah, blah, the old timer going. And I'm like, shut the hell up. You know what? That guy's forgotten more hockey than you'll ever learn. And you're acting like you're some idiot expert. You know nothing. Don Cherry, you know what? You can disagree with a lot of the stuff the guy says. Yeah, but when it comes to hockey, forget it. He's a visionary. He knew about no-touch icing in advance. He's telling you about the cat eyes, the goalie, and the eye injuries, and players don't tape the back of their boots anymore, and you're getting all these Achilles injuries. This guy's brilliant, all right?
No, I like Don Cherry. I'm with Don Cherry. I'm with Don Cherry, too. And the thing is, I agree with 90% of things he said. I just disagreed on the one thing when it came to Carolina.
A bunch of jerks saying, me too.
That's the thing. It's like, Don, I get it, but you know what? The Caniacs have been doing this for a while. It's like sometimes he has to take that, that view or that side of things. And it's like, Don, when it comes to the game, I'm not going to disagree. I agree with everything you said. But you know what? Carolina can do whatever the hell they want to get television ratings and to bring people in the stands. Sorry, Don. It's not like it's a market like Montreal, Boston, Toronto, Detroit. It's one of those things that, if Carolina fans want to have celebration where players knock down each other like a bowling alley, bowling balls, or shoot guns and bring in celebrities, I got no problem with it.
And I disagreed with that too. But the one thing I did say is you better knock that crap off for the playoffs.
Yeah, exactly.
And they did. Exactly. All right. Yeah, so the point was that Don Cherry, again, I think so astute. I told you on this podcast, and people laughed at me. I mean, not you. But I've been saying this on my radio show in Vegas, and everybody thinks I'm insane. I said St. Louis is going to be hard pressed to make the playoffs this year.
I agree with you.
And they came out. They came out of the gate. What a couple of nice road games. Look at say. Okay, they've lost 4 in a row. And in a playoff series when they can beat the hell out of you with good goaltending, and you're playing the same team over and over, they're a dangerous lot. But over the course of an 82-game regular season game with traveling and schedules and this and that, I'm telling you, they're a coin flip just to make the playoffs. And this is what Don Cherry said on Saturday night, and I give him full marks because I didn't think it is, but he said St. Louis is trying to play the style of hockey they played in the playoffs.
Exactly.
Big bruising, but that works when you play the same team every night and you wear them down. But if you're just doing, somebody showing up, it's a Monday in October, and Colorado's showing up. Oh, good. You try to beat Colorado up tonight, they'll skate rings around you. Now, you might beat them in the subsequent games in a series, but the game tonight, Colorado is going to skate rings around them. So Don Cherry said they've got to play the regular season. And this is the other thing that these idiots around here, and I don't know why I got a stone on my shoe about these other guys all of a sudden.
Yeah, well.
I mean, they're irrelevant to me. But we sit there and say, the games change. Oh, no, hockey's hockey. My ass, hockey's hockey. I said, you come out of the gate, it's pond hockey, then you get to January, and then the grind kicks in. But the minute you get to the beginning of February and the trade deadline's about to come, the games tighten up. And they start building the teams the way they're going to be built for the playoffs and tighten up. The games become lower scoring in February. And then the playoffs are night and day different in terms of every check they're trying to put you in a hospital. So the games are completely different. Don't tell me hockey's hockey. So at this time of year, St. Louis isn't built to play this kind of hockey.
I'm going to tell you something, Brian. I watched that game, and I remember I had Ottawa. Game was about a week ago. Ottawa was dominating St. Louis. St. Louis scored some late goals, and I had Ottawa puck line and money line. St. Louis ended up winning by 2 goals in that game, and I watched the game going, that was the most unimpressive win I think I've seen from a team this year. I've been watching the Blues. There's a problem there. They are not the same team. And I agree with Don Cherry, and I agree with you. You're laying 30 cents to a Colorado team that's amazing. I got to take Colorado in this spot. And I agree with you. St. Louis, they were one of those teams that caught fire. Everything worked at the right time. They got rid of Allen. Binnington came in. Things worked out. San Jose was old. They wore them down. That was a perfect storm. And that's what hockey is. When it comes to the playoffs, it's basically war and who's standing and who's healthy and who could skate and who's not half dead. And St. Louis, they're big defensemen and their relentless forecheck just buried teams, and it worked. But now they're a team that's having a lot of problems right now. They have problems scoring goals. They're a little bit overrated. Binnington got his money. And I got to tell you, Colorado out of the gate,
unbeaten. They get to lose.
The guys are unbelievable. They're unbelievable the way they come back, too.
I'm with you. Plus $1.20 with an unbeaten team. It was like Tampa Bay playing Boston. We talked about this on the podcast later. Seriously? I'm getting plus a nickel on Tampa Bay. So you're getting plus $1.20 on Colorado. I'd lean that way, but I'm leery because it's got to end, Cam. I like the over a lot in this. I like over 6. That was the really long-winded way to get to the point that I like the over in this game.
Yeah, I'm not really sure about the total, Brian, but you're really good with the totals. I like more of the sides. I can't say no to the Colorado Avalanche. I think they're a team too, thinking once you get that winning streak and you get past like 4 or 5, you start to think, oh, okay, this is for real. Like how long can we go? Eventually, it's not going to happen forever. We all know that. But the Stanley Cup champions, you as a dog, it's a statement game for the Avalanche. I think they want to go in there and beat St. Louis down. I'll take the plus money.
For outstanding information and special offerings and promotions, we invite you and encourage you to sign up for our newsletter today simply by going to the website, betchriscanada.net. All right, then we wrap it up. Just 4 on the docket on a Monday night. Ottawa's at Dallas. And listen, Dallas is laying 220. Yeah. I got news for you. Dallas shouldn't be laying 220 to anybody. And this is their first game home from a 4-game road trip in which they had gone 1-3. They lost 2, 4, 5 in a row. Last game, the get-out game on the road trip,
That's beat the one we won. Yeah, they beat the Flyers.
Beat the Flyers 4-1. But now you're coming home. And I got news for you. Saw it up close. Anders Nielsen is playing for the Senators. This kid stood on his head against Vegas. I'll tell you what. And
Ottawa's worth a look at plus 175.
Well, you know why they are too? I mean, who's Dallas to be looking by anybody? Who Bowden's playing? They're not playing Ben Bishop. They think this game's a walkover. They are sadly mistaken.
I'm going to tell you something, though, Brian. Dallas, it's interesting because Bishop's a good goalie, but I've been noticing this with the Stars. They play Hudobin a lot. And I think there's the word from Dallas, and maybe we can talk to a guy who covers the Stars down the line when we're doing this stuff. But I'm telling you, I think they think Hudobin is almost exactly the same as Ben Bishop.
Well,
to come over from Boston, they play him a lot for a backup. No other team plays. It's kind of like a 1A, 1B thing where other guys, Vegas, God, you have to be half dead for Fleury to sit, right? That Dan's getting his first start in 2 years. I'll tell you something, though. Dallas likes Hudobin a lot.
I don't know
Bishop
why.
has had the injuries. It's weird. I know, but I'm just saying, you know what I'm talking about. They play him a lot. He's not a typical backup.
They're on glue. Why? I mean, he's 0-3 with a save percentage of .888. I mean, Ottawa could come in there and throw wiffle balls by him.
Yeah, no, this price, I would have made Dallas $1.60, not $2.10. This is crazy. This is absolutely crazy. So I don't care if it, I think it can win. I think you have to put a play on Ottawa at a plus 175 price.
All right, let's take a peek. We love Tuesdays and Saturdays in the NHL because you get the bevy of games. You get a rematch here. Now. Boy, oh boy! Now if Toronto, here's my guess. Numbers aren't out yet. If Toronto beats Columbus tonight, and Toronto just beat Boston, Boston will probably be a quarter, 25.
Yep. I say 30. Yep.
Okay, but that's wrong. I mean, Boston should be. They shouldn't be less than 40 at home to virtually anybody.
I agree.
So and you got Boston sitting there with revenge on their mind and the Leafs coming in off back-to-back nights. I'm telling you, Cam, tomorrow I'm playing Boston on a puck line tomorrow night. Like
and
plus $1.90.
Another thing is be very, very careful. Like we got to see the goaltending situation, right? So if Freddie Anderson plays against
it'll be Hutchinson.
Columbus,
Boston
it's going to be Hutchinson tonight, and Boston will kill these guys. If you can find an early line and you can get that goalie confirmation, slam the Bruins puck line, whatever. It's going to be an absolute throttling, and they'd love to beat the Leafs in their own barn badly.
This is why we love hockey so much. It's the best sport to bet. Basically, here's what Babcock is telling you. Here's what the Leafs coach is saying to you. I better get the 2 points tonight in Columbus.
Exactly.
He's playing Anderson tonight. So he's not going to throw Hutchinson in, roll the dice on losing to Columbus, and then go lose even with Anderson tomorrow. So Hutchinson he's got to play tomorrow, wouldn't you think? And
yes, he needs rest.
His goals against is 4.
Yeah, no. It's like Vegas. The Leafs have a very similar situation. You cannot play Freddie Anderson this much. They will start Hutchinson, and that's bad news. Boston will probably get 4 or 5 on him easy. I agree 100%.
Well, and so the funny thing is that even a game tomorrow is telling you how to handicap the game tonight.
Yeah. Leafs are going to win tonight and lose to Boston tomorrow. That's exactly what's going to happen.
Now, this will be an interesting number. I cashed the ticket, and I'm not being a homer, not at all.
Just the way it is.
Buffalo lost to Anaheim, and Anaheim gooned it up on them, and the Sabres did not respond. And you know what? They played the next night against the Kings, and Buffalo's like plus 20 cents. And I'm like, well, I've seen the Kings play 5 times. I've seen every Sabres game. They're not a doubt in my mind. Buffalo's better than the Kings. But even on the back-to-back nights, all they were doing was going back to a hotel and taking a bus. It wasn't like they were traveling anywhere from Anaheim to L.A. Buffalo beats the Kings. Then they go up to San Jose, and it's the get-out game on a Western road swing, which can be tough. And wait a minute. Hockey history repeats itself. Buffalo owns San Jose. They're like 18-2-1 against them in the last decade. Seriously, that's the number. They own these guys.
It makes no sense.
And they're
not rivals or whatever. It's just certain things happen, and this is one of life's mysteries. I know the caramel secret is not really a mystery. It's just chocolate layered with caramel and another chocolate mold on top. But I don't know how the hell the Buffalo Sabres beat these guys all the time. It's unbelievable. What is the connection between Buffalo Sabres and San Jose, Brian? There's none. Okay. It's just Buffalo beats them. It's a mystery. I don't know why.
Cash the ticket. Buffalo beats them plus $1.50 up there. Now, when they were tanking, they were trying to.
I know.
When they were trying to lose games to get McDavid or Eichel, they were plus 450 in San Jose and beat them a few years back.
I know. I remember.
Okay, so now here's the quirk. Buffalo, Carter Hutton has back-to-back shutouts. beats the Kings. You got the hot goalie, and he goes into San Jose, Kruger, and plays Ullmark and beats him with Ullmark. Now they fly cross country. Now the rub is it's the first game home from a road trip, but only 3 games. But Buffalo comes home. They just beat them, and they're throwing Carter Hutton at them, who's on back-to-back shutouts, and the Sabres own them, and they'll probably be a 20-cent favorite tomorrow. They should be $1.70.
Yeah, I'm with you, Brian. And I really like the way Kruger's handling the situation. You keep both goaltenders hot. You know, one gets a shutout, you don't necessarily go back. Like, both guys are kind of like keen right now. You know, they're really jumping to get jumping. They want to play. There's a good vibe in the Sabres room, and that's the thing about hockey, too. It's one of those sports, man. You start to feel it. Buffalo's feeling it right now. This is a different team. They're at home. San Jose is an aging team. I love Buffalo in this spot, too. I agree with you 100%. Give me the Sabres.
Oh, who would have thought one of the marquee games in the early NHL season, but tomorrow, Anaheim at Nashville. Listen, what Eakins is doing with the Ducks is pretty remarkable.
A good defensive game.
They got a great goalie.
They do. Gibson's great. And
when Calgary,
the only reason Calgary won that first goal, Gibson didn't even know where the puck was. He was screened because there was a battle in front of the net. They could have won that game too. Anaheim's scary. Nashville, in my opinion, it's one of those teams. They're I don't know, Brian. I'm starting to change my tune. I think Nashville is one of those fade teams. Like, I just don't believe in the Predators. They're always favored. You know, I when I bet against them I get a pooch price. I cash tickets a lot. It's just one of those things. I am not sold. I know it's a great place to play. The Catfish, the fans, they got a really rock in there, but there's just something missing with the Predators. Maybe you could tell me, because I think people think they're a little bit better than they actually are.
Hey, one night to the next, you don't know what you're getting with Ringy.
That's the thing. They're inconsistent.
With Ringy. But I will just say this about Anaheim. Over the weekend, Buffalo 7-1-1. Late last week, Anaheim punched them in the mouth and beat them. Carolina is 6-3, and Carolina's playing great hockey. Anaheim punched him in the mouth and beat him. I mean, Anaheim's playing good hockey.
No, they are. Anaheim is one of those teams everyone expected to be junk. They're playing a lot better than they are. I would look at Anaheim in this spot. They're probably going to be a nice big pooch too. So yeah, I'd give the Ducks a long hard look.
All right, buddy. And then the Edmonton game at Minnesota. Minnesota is a dog's breakfast. They're
so lucky to beat Montreal. Like, that game was given to them. It felt like, I'll be on Edmonton. I don't care what the price is. I think Minnesota's horrible. Edmonton too, also a shootout loss against Winnipeg. They're going to want to get back on track. They're better than Minnesota. They should be able to beat them in the ground. I like the Oilers. Yeah, the Minnesota Wild, against Montreal there, the game felt like it was set up for them to win. They're a very bad hockey.
No, Minnesota's in big time trouble. And they get a win, but now they're going back home. I'm with you. Edmonton is clearly the side. And then I got to tell you, I gotta step back. I've been saying all the good things that have happened. I got Winnipeg. I was making money on Winnipeg early because of that bad defense.
I had 0-0, 1-0. What's going on?
Well, okay. Yeah, nice pick. I had the over in the last Winnipeg game was 1-0. Like, okay, I'm steering clear of this. LA's playing with tempo. I look at it, it should be an over game, but all of a sudden Winnipeg's got me, they're in the ozone layer to me for a while. They're just in orbit. I'm going to let them go for a while.
Yeah, sometimes you can't get a read on a team, and that's what happens. Winnipeg was horrible defensively. Now they're really buckling down. 1-0 win in a shootout against a very, very skilled Edmonton team. Yeah, I'd be careful. I lean Winnipeg against the Kings, but they'll be favored. I have no opinion of the total.
All right, buddy. We're rolling along early on. Real quick, only 2 games on Wednesday, and you get a little marquee action here. Pittsburgh at Tampa, and again, what Fleury's doing, what Crosby's doing is pretty remarkable to me. But that game has Sasquatch foot written all over. I think Tampa kills them.
Yeah, they should. Tampa Bay's been really disappointing. You're expecting them to explode. They lose games against teams like Ottawa. A lot of people they're talking about Cooper's job, which is insane.
It's
nuts. The team. Yeah, it is. It is nuts. Like, put the brakes on. The guy's a good coach, but I'll tell you, this Lightning team, sometimes they just don't show up. They think they can win with skill every night, and they play pond hockey. They better buckle down, Brian, because a lot of the time these guys don't come prepared, and they're being exposed. But when they want to, they are one of the best teams in the league. They should. And when Sidney Crosby comes to town, I expect the Lightning to murder Pittsburgh. I agree. Lightning puck line.
All right. Clearly, this was a Canadian thing. And let's wrap it up with this one. What? Caramilk? What was that?
What, the caramel secret? It's a chocolate bar. Remember?
Never heard
It's
of
like, you never heard? Okay.
No, I'm saying it's got to be it's got to be a
I
Canadian.
thought it was a
candy
North
bar.
American thing. No. It's I thought it was a very famous candy bar. They go, the caramel secret. It's like this big chocolate bar, but it's not a secret. It's just a layer of chocolate with caramel and another top layer. That's all I'm saying. They used to make it like, ooh, like, how do you make this chocolate bar? Well, you make it like any other chocolate bar. It has a mold. You just get chocolate, caramel, chocolate. Anyway, sorry, Brian. I thought you had caramel in the USA.
Well, maybe I don't. Do our producers?
I love it. My
Mike
favorite
and
American
Darren-
bars. 100
Oh no! You know
That's
what? Wait a minute. I guess me. I
That's a
guess
winner.
Is it Cadbury makes it? I guess.
Yes, Cadbury. Yes, Cadbury makes it. Yes. And I also like whatchamacallit bar. Another winner.
Yeah,
So that's a good bar.
You know what bar is the best for a podcast like this?
What?
The Payday Bar.
Ding, 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 ding. I like Payday too. Satisfies. Lots of peanuts there. Very, very nice. Yeah, let's make it a Payday Bar, buddy. Let's hit some winners.
We appreciate you doing it, Cammy. It's always a treat. Good luck on ice early in the week in the NHL.
You've been listening to the Hockey Betting Podcast, presented by BetChrisCanada.net.
For outstanding information and special offerings and promotions, we invite you and encourage you to sign up for our newsletter today simply by going to the website, BetChrisCanada.net.
The handicapping and sports odds information contained on this podcast is for entertainment purposes only. Please confirm the wagering regulations in your jurisdiction, as they vary from state to state, province to province, and country to country. Using this information to contravene any law or statute is prohibited. The podcast is not associated with, nor is it endorsed by any professional or collegiate league, association, or team. This podcast does not target and is not intended for an audience under the age of 18. If you think that you have a gambling addiction, stop this podcast now and please seek help.
Gambling and betting on sports is a form of entertainment and should be about having a good time. But when done excessively, it may negatively affect other areas of a person's life, such as their physical and mental health, school or work performance, finances, and or interpersonal relationships. At BetChrisCanada.net and the Hockey Betting Podcast, we're concerned about the addiction that gambling may cause, and for this reason, we encourage everyone to practice responsible gambling, an approach to gambling that helps you ensure that it remains an enjoyable activity. Here are the main principles of responsible gambling. Don't think of gambling as a way to make money. Always gamble with money that you can afford to lose. Set limits and stick to them. Never chase losses. Don't gamble when you're depressed or upset, and create a healthy balance. Always be aware of how much time you spend gambling or thinking about gambling. And do not allow gambling to cause you to miss out on time with family and friends or time spent on other activities you enjoy. By following these guidelines, gambling can be a good time and great entertainment. If you feel at any time that your gambling is taking away from important areas of your life, is causing you stress or depression, or is leading to financial losses that are beyond your control, please reach out for help. Learn more at responsiblegambling.org.